I wanted to talk today about a sensitive topic that surrounds people of color, religion, fear, God, sinning. Those are some of the things that I want to talk about. And the reason that I want to talk about that is because I've noticed that many of my peers, because of the religious programming, are stuck in these cycles, in these loops of trauma, of fear, of limitation. And I think that people of color have been specifically targeted. If we look at our ancestors that were aligned and in harmony with the earth, with the cycles of the moon, with the sun, with herbs, plant medicine, that there was more harmony until another human came in and they were taught, actually not even taught, they were forced into another belief system by violence and persecution. And so now, instead of following the natural cycles of nature, that is looked at as negative. That is looked at as worshiping a false god. But a book that has been edited and teachings that have been taken out is somehow truth. And that is just mind-blowing to me. And it shows in our society. It shows our disconnection from nature, even from the cosmos. Even astrology is looked at as being negative. And that doesn't mean everyone has to follow astrology, but just following the cycles of the universe is somehow the devil's work. So following nature is the devil's work, but please believe in this book that we've edited. That's truth. And I feel like many of us, especially people of color, are afraid to go against God. They're afraid of exploring their own consciousness. They're afraid of seeing their own darkness. When in reality, we all have that. We all have light. We all have dark. And until we can look at that darkness, until we can know ourselves, how can we move forward in harmony? It hurts me because I feel like people are so afraid of learning about themselves and exploring their spirituality and trying to understand who is God, what is God, who am I, why am I here, why was I born? It's like people just want to follow these rules. And I know more and more of us are falling away from that. But I still think the programming is so heavy because I know many healers that work with natural medicines and herbs and energy. And I feel like even as far as we've come in the last several years, I feel like many of us are still afraid to pursue that or maybe don't know enough about that. And that's okay. But it's really about us learning and exploring and figuring out what works for ourselves. But I know many people who will say, oh, I want to do this. I want to get healing, or I want to find out about this, find out about that. But then they just stay stuck and doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Or maybe praying to, let's say, Jesus, who I feel like I don't have anything against Jesus. Jesus was one of our ascended masters, but Jesus studied in India. He studied Reiki. Jesus studied in Egypt. He studied magic and alchemy. So I feel like instead of us praying to these beings, not living like them, not embodying them, Jesus said, it is your faith that healed you. You will do greater things than me. But somehow, people in our society, we're still stuck. We're still afraid to learn about ourselves. And I am an advocate of us getting to know who we are more. I am an advocate of helping people reconnect with their soul, with their spirit, with their authentic self. I'm an advocate of people coming back to nature, coming back to these natural cycles. And it just to me, people of color, we have been under this spell. All of the things that kept us rooted and kept us created or kept us connected to our divine self, to creator. We are all a spark of the creator. It is not separate from us. We should not be afraid to explore that. We are that. We are God. We are an aspect of God in this human flesh, exploring and expanding. God is not stagnant and just, it is ever expanding. It's not just this one set thing that isn't learning, it isn't exploring, it isn't expanding. And I feel like we're afraid to do that. And so we just get stuck. So I just encourage people to begin to learn more about yourself, begin to question your beliefs, begin to think about why you're stuck, why you're staying in these loops, why you don't love yourself. You know, my friend told me he had an experience that said that when he doubted God, it was like a disrespect, because we are that. So it's like we have been taught to not love ourselves. We have been taught to doubt ourselves. We have been taught to follow these man-made rules that we know were based in control and money. We know that. But somehow we're so afraid of sinning, or we're so afraid of going against God, that we just stick to the same rules. And I'm speaking in generalizations. I know we are all at different stages of consciousness. We're all learning. The more I learn, the more I know I don't know. So these are not judgments. These are observations. I am just sharing to encourage people to pursue some of these alternative modalities, and to pursue and get help with what your fears are and how they keep you tied down. There's another way. There's another way. So anyway, I'm done with my rant. I just wanted to share this with you. If you are seeking to grow, if you are seeking to release some shackles, contact me. I can give you suggestions of other healers as well. There are many of us who are brilliant, who are talented, that if more people knew about them, or more people were open to them, we would be living in a different society. And I think we're slowly moving out of our old ways. So I wish you well. Peace.